Hey everyone, Kevin here with HighLevel Tutorials, and today I'm going to give you a complete walkthrough for HighLevel calendars. It'll be about 15 minutes. It's going to take you from beginning to end, give you sort of the basics of everything you need to know for how to use calendars for booking in HighLevel. Before I get there, make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss out on all of the tutorials coming out for HighLevel in this channel. When setting up calendars, the first thing to do is you can go right to calendars and it'll take you to this spot and you can go to calendar settings. Alternately, you can just go to settings and click calendars. Either way will get you to the calendar settings. And basically the way it works, unless you have services, that's more for like a health spa or something where you have different kinds of services and you're booking them in for different employees or different people in the group. But other than that, every type of thing that you're going to book, if it's one-on-one coaching, if it's group coaching, you'll see that I have a calendar called Intro Call. It actually is inactive at the point. This calendar is called the Audit Results Calendar, and it is currently in my sales system. I'm offering a free audit of your system. So when somebody fills that in, I go do the audit, and then they get a link to this calendar to book a 15-minute audit results call. Kind of get the idea here, a discovery call. This is Business Builders. You see it's a 15-minute call. 1-hour bonus calls that some of you have already taken care of. This one here is my basic calendar I send everybody to for 20-minute calls. And so you just see every different type of booking, you set up a different calendar for it. That's the basic concept. So then something really important is many people, myself included, want this automated system where if you book a call with me, it automatically sets up a Zoom call, a Zoom link. In just a few moments, I'm going to show you how you send reminders to people, but it's really important when you set up that call. This is not intuitive, and I just want you to know if you're going to set up a calendar type, a booking type that you want it to automatically connect to Zoom, you need to set it up as a round robin type calendar. So if we just go take a look at new calendars, what I discovered is that you have to use the round robin calendar if you want to automatically connect to Zoom. So there are a couple of other bookings, a class booking, one host meets with multiple participants. I think for most of us, we're going to use round robin and potentially class booking. And then there's explore more types, physical events, and then this is scheduling for spa appointments, repair services, consultations. So this would be a little bit more like your local business that is setting up appointments and wanting to keep track of them. So that's the first piece. The first piece is setting up a calendar for each one of your types of bookings. Now, when you do that, you want your calendar to keep track of where you're booked and where you're not booked. And so there's a couple of pieces you want to make sure you're aware of in setting that up. The first one is availability. So up here at the top, we have preferences, and then we have availability. You can see that under preferences, I have my meeting location set for Zoom. You can do Google Meet. It will automatically set that up. You could set it up for a phone and for an address. And if you connect with Microsoft Teams, you could even set it up that way. So I'm using Zoom. There's my time zone. And then the third one, though, that I wanted to draw attention to is availability. Each user in your system, so potentially, as you grow, you might add another member of your team. Each person sets their own availability hours. You want to go in here to your weekly working hours and set up a basic schedule. And you can modify it on a date-by-date basis if you need to, but you want to set up your daily time. So I have 9 to 6, 9 to 12, 9 to 6, 10 to 3. I kind of have different schedule types for each of my days. So make sure you go and set up your availability. And then you'll notice this lets you set particular calendars with this availability. I just selected all of my calendars because this is essentially my booking hours. So you can choose different calendars having different schedules. So you want to set that up. Also, by the way, when you have other people, you can, if they work for you and you want to set their schedules, you can do that under the person at the top, the name drop down here. You can see it's just me. Okay, so that piece needs to be in place. And then the final piece, how do we get the calendar to actually sync up and make sure we don't double book? The very easiest way to do it is to connect to Google Calendar. So if you have a Google Calendar in place right now, you can go in, basically you click Add New, and you have these connect options. You can connect to Google, Outlook, iCloud, and Calendly. And then at the bottom for connections, this is where you would connect to Google Meet for your calendar, to Zoom, and to Microsoft Teams if you want to. So this is where you make them available. All right, so that's the basic setup for calendars. I'm going to go back to calendars now and just go look at the settings for an individual calendar. Every one of them will have this same type of settings. So I'm going to go, this is edit calendar, it'd be the same thing when you're setting it up. So I'm going to click edit calendar. And here are the things, the settings over here on the top left: meeting details, availability, forms and payment, notifications, and customizations. So for any calendar, you can add a logo to it. Here's the calendar name. If you want to, you can put a little description in. Again, you're going to see where these do or don't show up. You can group your calendars. One of the reasons to group your calendars is, so when I did my bonuses, you can get an hour call or two 30-minute calls. Originally, it was 3 20-minute calls. So I grouped those calendars, and then you can show both of those options in the calendar. That's the main reason to group them. This is your custom URL. Again, this would be when you're sending somebody directly to the calendar. You can set a meeting invite title. So you can see this: contact name, audit results, review these are tagged information at my location. All right, optimize for availability versus optimize for distribution. I'm going to let you look at that a little bit later. Select the team members to assign meeting location. So for each calendar, we can say different team members, or we can say different meeting locations. So that's the first set of settings. The second one is availabilities. You can see that at the top here, this calendar is going to use my booking availability that we set up earlier in my overall settings. You can choose look busy, and it hides a percentage of your available appointment slots, so that, when somebody comes and they're like, I'm going to check out this guy, Ian, and they look at your calendar and every moment of the day is available, and they're like, this guy doesn't really do much. So if you want to, you can set that on to look busy, and you can choose the number of slots or percentage for your calendar. You can set it up as a recurring meeting. Meeting interval reflects the amount of time between booking slots that will be shown in the calendar. So if you say 0 here, you could have 9 o'clock, 9:15, 9:30, 9:45, whatever. Or you can put a little interval between them so that not every time slot is showing. How long is the meeting? Minimum scheduling notice. This one says that requires users to book meetings at least this much in advance. How far out are you going to show options? A maximum bookings per day. So if you have a particular event that you only want to do one a day, you can set that up. Now, pre-buffer and post-buffer. So let's say you have your day is completely wide open. You start at 9 o'clock, you end at 5 o'clock, and you're wide open. So somebody comes and books 9:15, and their call is for 30 minutes. So 9:15 to 9:45 now is blocked out. What you can do is set a pre-buffer time. There has to be 15 minutes before the meeting available in your calendar before they can book it. And a post-buffer time. How long after this scheduled appointment do you want space before they can book, or anybody can book another time? So that's the pre and post buffer time. And this just cleans up your schedule so you're not booked constantly. All right, forms and payment. Every time somebody books, the calendar is going to have them fill in a form. And you can see that I have a default, which is first, last, email, phone, and notes. This is the default form that every calendar I use uses. But you can set up your own form. You can see all these forms and just choose it for the calendar. So if you want to collect something else, if you're doing a particular kind of event, you can set it up and ask for the specific things related to that event and use that form on the calendar. And then the widget is going to either show the date and time first or the form first. So you can just slide this up and down. So either they're going to come and select their time slot and then put their information in, or they're going to put their information in and then select the time slot. I confirm that I want to receive content from this company. You can make it so they can add guests to the call. And let's see, the default confirmation page. So for this calendar, the default confirmation page is set to just a thank you message. It can be set to a redirect URL where you send them to a specific thank you page. By the way, this is the calendar setup. Inside your page, when you embed the calendar, you can also choose what page it's going to go to. So you don't have to make sure it goes to the right redirect here. You can set it to a default, and then inside the page, set it to where you want it. You can put your metapixel on it, and you can set up payment options. If you want them to pay when they're booking, you can set that up here. We got notifications and additional options. Here are the types of notifications that come standard with calendars. An unconfirmed booking. This calendar system lets somebody could come and book an appointment, but it's not actually booked until you confirm it. You can also set this up so it automatically confirms the appointment. One of the notifications can be status confirmed, unconfirmed, confirmed. And then you have three options. You can send in-app, which if you haven't, I recommend you download the HighLevel app. It will let you get notifications for what's happening in your HighLevel account. So that's what in-app is. Also on your screen, if you're browsing the app on your browser, your notifications would come there. You can send an SMS and an email. Three options for each of these types of notification. And you see that the only two that I have turned on here are in-app. And if we click on the pencil, who's going to receive it? So email is disabled. In-app is only sending it to the assigned user. And I could send an SMS as well. But you see on email and SMS, we can send it to the contact, the assigned user, or additional phone numbers if we want to. Now here's why I have all of that turned off in my account. Because I'm going to show you an automation that I really recommend everybody use, which once somebody books an appointment, it automatically waits for 24 hours ahead of time, sends them that notification. Then it waits for an hour before, sends them a notification, and then it waits for 5 minutes before and sends a final notification. That's all a workflow automation. And if we turn these notifications on, they're going to get double notified, and nobody wants double notifications for things. Let's see. I have it set to allow Google, Outlook, or iCloud to send an invitation directly to the calendar. So this is how some people say, how did you add an event to my calendar? This is how it works. The Google Calendar itself sends the invitation to the other Google Calendar if it exists. A couple of things, allow them to reschedule, and then we've got a meeting note invite. This is the generic meeting. The phone, the email, need to make a change to this event, reschedule link, and the cancellation link. The final thing on calendars is, again, this is for the calendar widget. So this is what's going to show up on the page. So you can see we have a couple of styles. You can play around with that. Primary color, secondary color, and what's showing on the widget. So again, you can play around with this and see how it works on your page. That is all of the calendar setup. Two things I'm going to quickly hit, and that is how you put it on a page. So let's go to Sites. So let's say we want to add a calendar to this. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to add a section, a one-column section. I'm going to add a calendar. So here's my widget. I'm going to pull that in. When I click on it, this is where we can go select the specific calendar, or we can use a group page. I'm going to just go select a calendar that is a one-on-one call with Kevin. All right, so you see a couple of things here. Here's a logo, and here's essentially the date and time. And if you go play with those settings where what shows up on the widget, you could potentially put more information about the call. So let's go over here to the right. This is the final piece. What are you going to do when they book? So this is where I said, you can put it on the calendar settings itself, or you can come here and choose what's going to happen after they book. So you can use the action from the builder, go to a website URL, or just go to the next step in a funnel. And that is how you add to a page. Should have gone back and shown you this as well. If you want to add your calendar to some other builder, to some other page, let's go to calendars. Let's go back to calendar settings. Let's go to this share button for any calendar. And this will give you a link, a one-time link if you want to send it and not have it available. Somebody says, hey, I need a booking time. You can send them this one-time link and it'll only work one time, like it says. Or you can use embed code. And this is how you could embed it on any pages you have active in Groove or any other site. I'm going to show you the automation, and you probably won't have this in your account. So what you can do is do create workflow, and I'm going to select from a template. So it's the customer appointment, but you can see the name of it is confirmation and reminder. Let's take a look at that one. This one will work with any calendar in your system, which is why I like it. So you don't have to connect it to a specific calendar if they book on this calendar. So what it does is it sends a confirmation email. It waits for 24 hours, sends a reminder, an SMS, waits for an hour, sends a reminder and an SMS. And then after, it sends an internal notification for you to make any comments or follow up. And you can do several other things. So this is a great template. You should add this to your account, and all of your bookings will automatically be tracked and reminders sent. And that is my overview of calendars. I hope that was helpful. I hope you'll keep coming back. Make sure you let your friends know, your high-level buddies know that there's a great channel out here giving tutorials free for how to use it. And also check out clientconnectcentral.com if you want to know how you can get involved with using and mastering your own all-in-one platform for your business.